Ladies and gentlemen, you know his fine work from the Hobbit movies, the Royal Shakespeare Company. Many, many phenomenal credits for both stage and screen. Please welcome lucky number 7, the amazing Sylvester McCoy!
I've got jet lag.
Ooh, you got a ton of lag.
Yeah. Hello, madam. Sir, here we are. And there you are. Hello, waving person. Hello.
First again, Sylvester, it is an honor to have you on our stage. Thank you very much for coming out to Fan Expo Dallas, and thank you very much for just being a part of a great celebration of a program that, you know, as a 29-year-old actor, it has to be amazing for you to be a part of that and have that as a member of your legacy.
Am I 29? Oh, that jet lag really is bad. Yeah. No, I was 27 when I got the part. No, I wasn't. What were you when I got the part? No, I was 40 odds when I got the part. I looked 29.
Looked phenomenal.
Facelifts were good in those days.
I'm a little sad though that I don't see any spoons here.
Oh. They make any spoons?
Did anybody bring spoons for Sylvester?
Yeah.
Because as a youth coming up through both stage and on television, you made your living as a busker, and that's how you basically gained notoriety and caught the eye of a casting agent, if I remember the story correctly. Or am I getting that completely wrong because Wikipedia lies about everything?
I don't know. Yes, I mean, I did busk. We started off busking, and then we started working, busking inside theatres as well as outside. I busked outside Joan Littlewood's theatre. She was one of the greatest British directors of the 20th century, and she came out and used to throw money at us, and then one day it was raining and she brought us onto the stage and eventually employed me as an actor on the stage. So yes, I came from busking into theatre, and then I kind of carried on through, and yeah, someone who'd seen the roadshow busking gave me a job on television in a piece called Vision On, which was a very visual piece of television that was hugely successful in Britain. Did well in Canada too, but America didn't. I don't think it was seen in America. Yeah.
I don't think it had a distribution deal. That's why it didn't do well, because it wasn't playing here. That is an absolute falsification, sir. It does not have to play here. You can have success, but it's not for you lack of trying. If I remember correctly, one of the segments involved you setting your head on fire.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, what happened was that I was mistaken, if you can say that word, for an actor. I was working in the Roundhouse box office, and there was another actor collecting my tickets, because his wife was part of the administration. So Brian Murphy used to collect the tickets when he wasn't working. He'd come and hang around, and he'd collect the tickets I sold, and he somehow thought I was an actor. And a director came in one day called Ken Campbell and said to him, "Here, Brian, I've got this mad show. Someone's let me down, young actor. I need someone. Do you need to know anyone?" And Brian said, "Well, that's the guy in the box office. He's out of his head." So he came up and he said, "Do you want to join my show?" And I said, "Yes," because I have always had the inability to say no. A very good reason I'm not a lady. It's been terrible. Anyway, so off I became an actor. No idea why. I just said yes, and so I became an actor. And then we created Sylvester McCoy because my name was Kent Smith, and I acted with them for a little bit in sketches. Then we went and joined a circus for a little while, and then when we left the circus, I said to Ken, we should take the skills we learned in the circus, use them in the roadshow, go on the street, because we used to play pubs and recommend clubs and small theatres, and just generally have a good time, and on the street. And so we started doing stunts. And Ken Campbell came up with the name Sylvester McCoy. The name Sylvester came from a song, the First World War song. It came from America. It was about the first, black soldiers who came across, brave and wonderful men that they were, to help Brits, considering we started slavery. That was amazing of them to forgive us and come across and try and save us. Anyway, they did. And the song was, have you heard about the big strong man who lives in the caravan? Have you heard about the Jeffrey Johnson fight when that great black American beat the night? You can bring all the heavyweights you got, cause we got a little man to play the lot. He plays the organ and the belfry, and he wants to fight Jack Dempsey. That's my brother Sylvester. What's he got? He's got a row of 40 medals on his chest, big chest, explored all the Arctic in his vest. He knows no rest. Bigger the up, stronger the punch, hellfire, son of a gun, don't push, just shout, plenty of room for thee and me. He's got an arm as big as a leg, a lady's leg, and a punch that's in command ship, big ship. It takes all the army and the navy to put the wind up. Sylvester. That's where my first name came from. Tell you the second one because there are children in the room. Anyway, we created this character, An Evening with Sylvester McCoy, the Human Bomb. Nowadays, that doesn't go down well. But when we started it, it was a big hit. We became a cult and we travelled all over Europe. We even went to Israel. And I was the Human Bomb in Israel. We used to take them out of the audience. You see, we'd have been in the theatre and we'd do all sorts of stunts, and they announced that Sylvester McCoy will now explode a bomb in his chest, but we can't do it in the theatre, so ladies and gentlemen, stand up, and then we march the whole audience out into the street, into a car park or a bomb site or somewhere, and then I'd lie down on the ground and I'd put a bomb in my chest, and they'd light it and it would explode. And then if the audience behaved themselves, I'd set light to my head. And that's why I started setting light to my head. I blow fire as well, as you do. Like you do. It's one way, one route towards the Royal Shakespeare Company. But anyway, I was a stuntman. I did every stunt. I was a skinny little fella. And the idea was, I banged nails at my nose, I put ferrets down my trousers, trying to break the world record, I escaped from mailbags, handcuffs, I was handcuffed, I used to meditate a piece of cotton wool and then burst into fire. I could levitate people, there was all sorts of things. I did stunt after stunt after stunt, but it was a very witty show because the director, Ken Campbell, was a bit of a comic genius. And he wrote some amazing dialogue to go with it. I'm incredibly proud that that's how I really started off my career. But nowadays, if I advertised An Evening with Sylvester McCoy, the Human Bomb, I'd be arrested. And rightly so. I mean, that was a time of innocence. You could do a thing like that, but now it'd just be unthinkable.
Well, it was a great time for British television at that point too, because you had the Goons, you had Python, you had all of these great troops.
Well, we were pre-Python,
right?
We were just, and we were unfortunate really. We did a few TV pilots because we were quite mad and insane, like Python. The Goons obviously inspired us. As did lots of other people, but we were also, we have a thing in our country called the class system, and sadly it still exists, and none of us had gone to university. We'd gone through drama school or, whereas the Pythons come along and they'd all gone to university, and they were, God bless them, they're great. I've worked with them since, and I don't knock them for it. But it was just that if we had gone to university, we most likely could have made that step. It was more difficult because it was very, very new stuff. nobody had ever seen anything quite like it. And, you know, we were anyway, we did it in the theatre. We went to Germany. They called us the Beatles of the theatre in Germany. We got photographs taken for Playboy magazine. With all our clothes on.
Didn't sell.
Yeah. No, das ist good. No, in Germany. They used to ask us, they didn't quite understand why we used to explode bombs in our chest and set light for our head. What is the political reason why you are blowing up your head? We just said, just for a laugh. What? A laugh? It was also kind of tragic, sad in a way, because when we arrived there in the early 70s. We toured Germany, we played the Deutsche Schauspielhaus, we played the Academy der Kunst in Berlin, I was in Hamburg, we were in Frankfurt, we were all over Germany, and we were a huge success. They hadn't ever seen anything like it. But what was really sad was, although they did ask those questions about the political reason why, partly it was to do with Hitler and the war and the Nazis. Because what happened was that they'd wiped out Variety in Germany. Because Variety, it's got gay people in it, it's got, dwarfs, it's got, kind of, all sorts of, mad people like me. And, they got rid of them. And they actually kind of, they cut out a piece of their entertainment. And so when we arrived, a new generation hadn't seen any of that, really. So it was quite interesting. And we brought it back to them and we showed them, and they could go back and find that they had great German extreme comics and, visual comics and stuff like that. Anyway.
But all the footage was burned at that point, along with a lot of the books and the rest of the
they tried to wipe out anything that was funny. But that was because Hitler was funny, and he didn't want anyone around who thought he was funny, so they just weren't funny about it.
I'm curious, at the time, what was the world record for stuffing a ferret down?
Well, the world record for having a ferret down your trousers. Well, we invented it. You see what happened?
I bet you did.
We invented it. You see, what happened was that Ken, after we'd been to the circus, and I said to Ken, we ought to start this show. And we came up with, Sylvester McCoy, the human bomb. But we wanted to create stunts. And we were going to do lots of stunts. And so we went to stuntmen in Britain and asked them about how they did their stunts, and they were kind enough, they shared some of them with us, escapology and chain breaking out and various other things. But Ken wanted to create his own stunt as a gift, to give another stunt back. And he happened to keep ferrets. They were his pets. Now, do you know ferrets over here?
Yeah.
And they got teeth like that, and when they join, they could join like that, and they don't let go. The only way to get them to let go is to take a cigarette and blow smoke in their face. And they're anti-smoking.
Lauren Miller's a ferret fan.
Yeah. So anyway, Ken said, let's create this our own stunt. And so we did. We tried. The ambition was to get a ferret, and I would, the ferret, and then I'd have trousers, baggy trousers, which I would draw down, and then to show everybody, especially the young ladies in the audience, that I had no protection or stiffening. There was all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that was the kind of gags we had. It was that bad. Anyway, yeah. So then the ladies would come up, examine me, make sure there was nothing to protect me against and then I could take the baggy pants up, and then the ferret handler would come out, and here he would be wearing a white jacket thing, and have the cage, and then on his nose he would have a silver protection, metal protection, in case got his nose and hung onto it. And he'd take it out, and we'd explain the ferret, which was like that, swing it around, and a short hanging from a piece of chicken. And then they'd get a timer, there'd be a timing person, and they'd take the ferret, and then they'd stick it down my trousers, and they'd pull the belt. And here and here was rope, string, so that the ferret wouldn't escape. Now, originally, we wanted to try and make it escape, because we thought it'd be really good, but we know we couldn't actually. So we tried to teach the ferret, when the handler was putting it on my trousers, for it to run up here into a bag, and hide. So, and we pretend the ferret was down there, and then we'd just say, oh, it's disappeared, and then we got all the audience to sit with their legs in the air. That was our ambition, that's how we started this.
I thought that'd be really great, especially all those young ladies out there. Anyway, the ferrets are just untrainable.
As any ferret owner will tell you.
So anyway, ended up, one day I was fed up, oh, stick the damn thing down, and they did! Now, this is a secret, so don't tell anybody. We had a false pocket in the trousers. Nobody knew that at the time. So anyway, we used to put the ferret down trousers, try and break the world record. Can't remember what it was, because we made it up. Anyway, and then I would never break the world record because it was much more fun. And so then I'd say, I can't, it's licking, and then I'd undo my fly, and then a little ferret would just pop its head out of my fly. I always thought that was rather sweet, really. And so I never broke the ferret. Now, what happens is, we were touring outside Liverpool, in a place called Kirby. Now, Kirby's a really hard place. Oh, it's terribly hard. And so, Liverpool Arts Department, they once sent in the Liverpool Philharmonic to Kirby, and only 10 survived, you know. They lost, 3 timpani and a violinist somewhere. They never came back alive anyway. It's a really wild place. So they looked at us and thought, wow, that's the kind of show we should send into Kirby. That will entertain them. That's wild. So they sent us in. At the same time we did the documentary, you can find it somewhere in the ether, of us doing that show. And also a newspaper, a Sunday newspaper came and followed us. You can hear me, can you? Can you hear me? I don't need a microphone, I'm an actor! Anyway, what happened was, then we were followed by this newspaper, Sunday newspaper. We did a whole week, and which entertained. And if you do find this piece of film, it's out there somewhere, about the Ken Campbell Road Show, you'll see what it was like. It was really hard, but we succeeded. We did entertain them. They did laugh. They enjoyed it. The whole thing. So then what happened was that the newspaper, they reported it. Now we'd been paid by the Liverpool Arts Council to go in and do that. They subsidised us to do that. So it was in the paper, something said, the Ken Campbell Road Show, blah, 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 blah. And it said, it might be fun, but is it art? That was it. So, these Sunday newspapers, you can't hear me then?
No, it's for posterity. I want to make sure this is on recording.
Okay. Anyway, so, the paper said, it might be fun, but is it art? And in a way it was attacking us. Because it was one of those right-wing newspapers, one that Murdoch's got, Fox, the guy who runs the Fox over here. An Australian that took out American citizenship just to get more money. Anyway, it was one of his newspapers or something like that, or like that kind of thing. And so they were attacking the arts. They always want to attack the arts. But the arts were, trying to give art to everybody, and they gave, kind of low, it's not low class, but low comedy, but very sophisticated in its wit, to Kirby, and they loved it, and it went down well. But suddenly, overnight, in Britain, because remind you, we invented the ferret down the trousers. It's never been done before in its life. Overnight in Britain, people were sticking ferrets down their trousers all over the country, trying to break the world record. There were people on television with 25 ferrets down their trousers.
Oh my gosh!
People used to come to the show with their own ferret and challenge me. Would I put their ferret down their trousers? So anyway,
has this ferret been domesticated?
No, it's still out there. We used to tour, Germany and Holland and Europe, and then we went to Israel. And everywhere we went, we took a ferret. But because of the laws of what do you call them? Laws you're coming in with animals.
Customs.
Yeah, they're not a custom, but they kind of. That's the word for it.
Quarantine.
Quarantine. Yeah, quarantine laws. Well done, man. You work for the. Anyway, the quarantine laws. Because of the quarantine laws, we had to leave them in countries. And of course, the zoos used to love them because they didn't have them in Australia, in Germany didn't, and so they became part of the children's zoo. So we actually educated the world about ferrets.
inaugurate. I'm not, you can stand, I'll just stand. They'll kill me if we don't go into Doctor Who, which is how a lot of us got to know you, because we didn't get to see you putting in ferrets down your trousers, and I'm very sad about that.
It's underneath it somewhere if you want to watch it.
I'm sad that I didn't bring the clip.
Grey, black and white. Actually, the film it's in colour, but when you watch it, it's so grey, because Kirby was so grey. Even when a colour film, it came out grey.
I'm curious, and we do have a microphone here, and that guy had dibs, so get on there. He jumped. When I said there was a microphone up here, I couldn't even keep him away. But I do want to ask one other question. When you were casting for and received the role of Doctor Who, what was the first thing that went through your mind? As you know, you've got a character that's had 6 incarnations before you, and it's such steeped in history. What was going through your head as a street performer who was mistaken for an actor, becomes an actor, and gets one of, even at the time, one of Britain and the world's most iconic roles?
Nothing. The thing is, you see, when I first saw Doctor Who in 1960, it was Patrick Troughton. And I saw him. I didn't have a television, but the man downstairs, we lived in this kind of rooming house. It was a bohemian rooming house, and I supplied the soup, he supplied the telly, and Stella De Quincey supplied the cigarettes and the other bit. And so we used to do. I inhaled. We used to do the football polls, you know, and the football poll results came out, and then. After the football polls, before them, I can't remember, Doctor Who appeared. And that's how we got into Doctor Who. We weren't really interested in it, we were interested in the results. Sorry. We were interested in the results, and, you know, then we started watching. And we became hooked. And so, I became a fan of Doctor Who's. We watched it. We looked forward to it a lot every Saturday. And then, John Pertwee took over, and then Tom Baker. And halfway through Tom Baker, I became an actor. And therefore, we didn't have any means of recording it. It was never repeated. So it vanished from my life, as it would. You know, just gone. Missed and carried on. I was doing my stuff. Tom Baker can go off and do his stuff, for all I care. No, he's a lovely man. I was told to see. No, anyway. I'm lying. I'm just joking. Josh. Anyway, so I became actor, traveling the world, doing stuff, having a great time. And then I heard that... who was it? I heard that Peter Davidson was leaving. Yeah, and up to that point, people always said to me, you know, you should do Doctor Who. And I distant memory. Yeah, oh, great, thank you. But they kept saying it, and partly because I always wore my scarf like this. Not, so I always kind of wore a scarf, and somehow the scarf reminds me of Doctor Who. Anyway, so I hear in the news. Peter's leaving, so I phoned my agent. There's a job going at the BBC. And he said, they phoned up and said, sorry, we're already casting. And then cut to 2.5 years later, bang, it's on the news again. Colin Baker's there, leaving. And so I phoned up and said, Colin Baker's leaving. And my agent did get in touch with John Nathan Turner, the producer, and he said, hello, I think you should see Sylvester McCoy. And John said, Sylvester who? And my agent said, yes. And so then they chat, they hang up. The next call that comes through, John Nathan Turner picks it up, and is a producer who happened to Vision On and things like that, but other programs I did years ago. I did loads of television before Doctor Who, but mostly children's television, years and years of it. So anyway, he had produced a lot of my stuff, and he said to John Nathan Turner, I think you should see Sylvester McCoy. It'd be good. And John said, wait a minute, I've just spoken to his agent. He said, are you with the same company, agent? No, we don't know what you're talking about. And so this was a great thing, because GNT was slightly into, you know, kind of coincidences and, you know, things like that, and synchronicity and all that kind of stuff. Sure. So he went, ooh, that made him interested. And luck would also have it, I was at the National Theatre playing the Pied Piper in a musical play that had been written for me. So I was starring at the National. John came along, and in another bizarre coincidence, I was wearing a multicoloured coat like Colin Baker, bizarrely. A beautiful coat that my character had. But anyway, that didn't seem to... Maybe John is just addicted to those kind of coats. Anyway, he went back afterwards to the office and said, I found my new doctor. I had to go through lots of hoops because I came along to see him. It was a sunny day and I wore my straw hat the way I said in the Doctor Who. I wore the straw hat and John said, oh, that hat's great. I would love to have that in Doctor Who. And I said, well, if the hat's in Doctor Who, I go with it. So that's how I got John. No, and then I had to do screen tests because the people upstairs said, no, he's too lightweight. And so I did screen tests. John Nathan-Turner fixed the screen test so that the other two actors didn't look good. So I got it. So that's how I got it.
Beautiful. So no. All right, first question.
All right, well, last convention we went to, we got in trouble for asking what your favorite thing was, so I'm not going to do that. I know with the budget difference between when you were in Doctor Who and, of course, now, what was probably one of your most memorable moments filming back then?
Filming what?
Doctor Who.
Oh, back then, I thought it said Batman on
No.
the time. I used to play him when I was a little kid. My favourite moments filming Doctor Who? Well, I have one moment that jumps into mind. We were filming Survival. Now, twice we filmed in a kind of a desert area. And as luck would have it, with our terrible weather, there's a place in Dorset called, where I renamed the Desert of Dorset. Because it's a big sandpit, huge sandpit, a couple of miles that way around. And we filmed there, a lot of people filmed there for those kind of sandy things. And so we were there filming Survival. Now Survival had cat people, and also they had all these girls dressed up in cat fun furs. Really, you know, and makeup and everything, and it was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. For us, that's really unusual. It was like, but also in a way I quite enjoyed it because it was like making a spaghetti western, and I also got to ride a horse. So it was like, I always wondered spaghetti western. So it was vaguely spaghetti western-ish. Anyway, the heat is intense, it's the BBC, I'm the only one with an umbrella. There's no shade, we're in the middle of a desert in Dorset. And so one of the girls completely freaks out, she can't bear it. The heat, so she rips out her costume, and the last time she's seen, she's kind of running over a sand dune. The only thing was that she forgot she was only wearing a thong. But for some reason, that one always sticks in my head. Next for the doctor.
All right, Nick.
Hello, Rick. Hello, Ace.
Actually, it's funny that you talk about Survival Ace, because tomorrow I'm cosplaying as Ace from Survival, and I'll have the wig and everything and all that stuff. So,
Splendid.
hi!
Hello.
You're my first doctor! Okay, so
How do we interpret that question? Anyway.
How do I interpret what? Wait, I'm sorry, how do I interpret what?
No, it's all right.
Okay, so I don't know if you're aware of this, but in America, you know how they always have those weird Chuck Norris facts, like Chuck Norris doesn't believe in the periodic table of elements, he only believes in the element of surprise.
No.
Oh, well, we have that in America, and I like to frequent the internet, and something on Tumblr is called Classic Who Facts, where we find random facts such as...
There's a Tumblr on the internet?
Yes. Let me tell you a fact about you that is on the internet.
You just watch it. Drying your clothes. Listen, I'm so up to date and everything. Did you get my pigeons? Anyway.
Okay. So can you confirm nor deny? You can confirm or deny this. Is it true that you can turn coals into diamonds by simply rolling your R's at it?
was a joke. Rolling my R's at diamonds. Hey, wouldn't I be rich?
Do you have any other cool facts for us?
I didn't quite catch that.
Any cool facts for us besides the diamond one?
Any cool what?
Any cool facts besides the diamond one?
Facts. They've gone out of fashion now. I had a really good facts, cool facts, but you can't use them now because of the internet. That's the only facts you're getting now. It's like a jail line, I can't think, I don't know what you're talking about. Ask me a question that I can answer. Cool facts about Doctor Who.
Oh no, about you.
Me?
Yeah, just you.
I'm 5'6" and shrinking.
Hello, Mr. McCoy.
Are you filming yourself asking me? I mean, that's vanity!
No, I don't have that kind of vanity. I have a class of students that I teach after school, and we have a Doctor Who club. And we've been watching both new and classic Who. So the thing that's happened is we watched Survival. It's the first time many of them saw you. And the class is very sharply divided. Half of them really enjoyed it. The other half are saying, oh, I don't like this, the special effects aren't good enough, it's too long, it's too difficult to follow. So the question I have for you is, or rather it's just a statement and you can respond to it because my students are now watching you. Make a retort to their argument about, oh, classic Who isn't as good as new Who. Or how would you like to support classic Who, specifically your era?
Wow!
Mind you, these are 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds watching this.
Now you guys who like the old stuff, the classic, you guys who hate it, I'm going to haunt you tonight. Yeah, no, it's difficult. There is a difference. A lot of people, I suppose it's the age really, some people find that the new Who, the older people, is too fast and too quick. I think we have the luxury in the old Who, in the classic Who, of time. We could develop character. I keep hitting you. We could develop character, there was more time to develop the story as well, and take it on a journey. Yeah, the sets shook a bit. Quite a lot. But I mean, when our Dalek went up the stairs, that was a real Dalek that went up the stairs, not CGI. It's easy now, just press the button, and there it goes, really. When our Dalek went up the stairs, I'll tell you what happened. This is the BBC for you. The Dalek, for the very first time in the history of the Dalek, was up the stairs in one of my remembrance of the Daleks. Now what they do is they get a real Dalek, a big, heavy Dalek. They don't even build a lightweight one, they don't get a cardboard one, they get a heavy one. And they stick scaffolding poles into its side. Like that. My goodness, that Dalek screamed. Anyway, they stuck with that. And you can imagine, so there's these two poles sticking out, much longer than that. And then through the wall, and there's the stairs, and then the Dalek. And then what they did was at the other end, they had a pole parallel to the incline of the stairs, and then on the other side of this pole there, they had 10 men hanging on to the scaffold. And so that's how they got the Dalek up the stairs. They got these 10 men sweating and cursing. And this poor Dalek was going up the stairs, and I was going, oh, and he was going this Dalek going up the stairs. By the time he got to the top of it, he threw up, I think. But nowadays, just press a button. I think that's boring. My way was better.
Thank you very much.
I was wondering if you could tell a story about The Hobbit, something that happened during the filming or something that you liked about during The Hobbit, something related to The Hobbit.
I will tell you a story about The Hobbit.
Okay.
When I first arrived in New Zealand. It was exciting. I was in one of the biggest, films that were going on at that time. And then I arrived and realised that I'm on the set, this lovely, beautiful set, a Radagast house, the inside of the house. And it's just me. and a stuffed animal. This is brilliant. I'm going to be on 3D television and huge cinemas all over the world. Just me and a stuffed animal. I was so proud. And now they're all great and I'm acting these socks off. And then I go along to see the film, right? Sit down, all caps. Oh, this is me. I'm going to be so huge. And then that little stuffed animal, the Wizards of Weta got hold of it. And they turned it into this cuddly, sad little creature. And everybody's going, oh. Nobody's looking at me. That blinking, upstaging little blackguard. I wish I killed it.
There's your Hobbit story.
Hello. You'd mentioned filming Survival. When you were doing that show, did you all know that was going to be the final one that was going to be aired and the final one seen for the classic era?
No.
Okay, that answers the next question. I was going to ask if there was any discussion given as to how to play the final scenes and what maybe didn't get aired, or what didn't get filmed when they decided on the final scene. So they did not know, I guess, that was going to be...
Some did. I mean, I think we didn't know. I don't think... The producer had an inkling that, you see, what happened... I still haven't got 100% on top of what happened, really. But it seems, from the story that I've kind of heard, this has some traction in it, is that a film company wanted to film Doctor Who. So they approached the BBC and said, we'd like to film it. But if we do film it, we would really rather not have it going out on television at the same time. So that's when so John Nathan Turner had an inkling. Maybe that, it was the early, you know what films are like. It takes 7 years to go off the ground and then they never do. So I think he got wind that there was something in the air. So that's why, at the very last minute, he got them to make that lovely speech where I go off for a cup of tea and all that stuff. And I had no idea, when Sophie, none of us had any idea. They just said, do this. And we did it. We just thought it was added to it. Or, it would still fit if we came back in the next, 6 or 7 months later for a new series, it'd still fit in. So that's it, really. We didn't know. And it was only, funny enough, it was... later in the year, I think it was August or somewhere, I got a phone call from John Nathan Turner, the producer, and he said, hello, Sylvester. He said, I just phoned you up to tell you I sent you a letter. Thank you. That's a new way of putting it. Anyway, then he said, I'll tell you what's in the letter. And then he told me that the programme was going into hiatus. So the idea wasn't to kill it off, but it was to take it off for a while and then bring it back. And then took it off and forgot to bring it back. For 9 years! But luckily, Sophie and I, and Colin and Dare and Paul, no, not Paul, because he hadn't arrived yet, John, and I think maybe Tom as well. We kept it alive with the fans. It was the fans that kept it alive, we used to make, audio recordings in someone's toilet before Big Finish. It grew out, Big Finish started, and that was fans as well. There were 2 fans that did it, but we were doing it, keeping it alive, and then Big Finish came along, and then they kept it alive even more, and then it became quite successful, and then the BBC looked at it, and I think when Russell T Davies went along to them, he suddenly realised that it hasn't gone away, and there's a fan club out there still, and so it came back. Was absolutely brilliant. So anyway, that's my answer, if you believe it. Hello. Hang on a minute. No, don't run. Oh, you are.
Would you ever like to be on Doctor Who again?
Yes, if they asked me, I'd do it. I mean, it was great doing the 5-ish Doctors, which was the way it was. And, you know, and we snuck into the 50th anniversary. Or did we? Thank you for your nice question, thank you.
Is there talk about Davidson perhaps making another script for you lot and bringing that troupe back and giving us more of you guys on screen together? Because there's, you heard it, everybody loved the Five-ish Doctors, you know, reuniting on screen again. Is there a possibility that Davidson might have another script rattling around in that brain of his?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he is. I mean, he's brilliant. And what he did with that was just joyful and witty and inventive and everything. I'm just so full of praise for him for that, and I'm proud to, you know, humbled to be in it. But the problem is, you see, everybody did it for nothing. None of us got paid. We did it for the love of the program and the love of the fans. Because the fans wanted us to be in the 50s. We realised we weren't, and we, you know, early on, it was going to be a whole movie. But then it kind of built up, because each time Peter asked someone, would you like to be in it? He said, yeah. And then eventually we got Peter Jackson and Ian McKellen. Well, and then, of course, we even got the BBC involved in some bizarre way. And the producer, who wasn't going to have us in the 50th anniversary, was actually in ours. And while he was filming it, he suddenly realised, wait a minute, I'm the villain of this piece. So it was a joy and a great, I'm glad that it's been so well received, and I'm the Hobbit, you know. And, but how could we get someone like Ian McKellen again? It cost us £20 million. We couldn't do a second one without paying people. The only way to get maybe fundraise or whatever it's called, that might be a thing to do. But I suggested that what we could do is we could try and take over, what do you call it, the one, the motor car one? Top Gear. Top Gear. I thought Top Gear! I mean, Colin, he could be the big, grumpy, bad-tempered.
Not a stretch.
Ooh, no, great acting about for that. I could play the wee dwarf one. You're rather handsome, well, you know, and of course, you know, Peter could be the sensible one in the middle. Sure. But they didn't jump at that. Although I think it'd be really good because it's quite topical, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway.
All right, get the hashtags going, kids. We need to make this happen.
Hello.
Dr. Top Gear.
Good afternoon, good evening. Splendid hat. I do the comedy here.
Mr. Sylvester McCoy?
Yeah.
In your run, what would be your favorite villain?
In my reign, I suppose it was the Master, really. Yeah. The thing about Anthony Ainley is that, well, once he started doing the Master, he never wanted to play any other role. All he wanted to do was play cricket and the Master. And he was a bit like the Master off-screen as well as on-screen. He used to frighten the life out of me. We were filming Survival, and that's the time when I worked with him, and it was, as I say, it was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I had on that big jumper, all that costume. It was unbearably hot. We had a battle, and it was on a stage, and all the way around the stage they put fire, so that increased the heat. And then all the people had been to the opticians to get cat's eyes, you know, cat's lenses, because that was part of the story. And they said I didn't need them, and then on the day we did it, they suddenly said, oh my God, you do need them! So we had to borrow someone else's lenses and stick them in. There was sand everywhere, there was lenses, there was sand, there was that. I was weeping, I couldn't see, and I was hot, it was uncomfortable, and Anthony Ainley forgot that acting he was the Master. So he had a big femur in his hand, a big bone, and he was biting the bejeebers out of me. I could hardly see to try and stop him doing it. I said, you know, I never heard of acting. Anyway, next story.
You, sir, have the final question. Make it a good one.
Okay. I will do the best I can. Sylvester, thank you so much for coming and speaking with us. It's such a great opportunity to see the person. So thank you so much for traveling with us. It's my understanding that the American actor Adam West, who is in the TV Batman series, is contractually prohibited from ever appearing in the costume or doing anything associated with his character that he is well known and probably loved for. Is there anything that you are contractually not allowed to do related to your Doctor Who time? And if not, why do you think that is? Is the BBC more lenient, or is there anything you can't do? And if so, why is that the case?
Porno film.
I didn't see that on your IMDb page, so thank you.
No. In those days, yeah, they didn't say you can do anything really. They never said. It was much more relaxed. The thing is that the BBC in those days wasn't so commercially sharp with it. Yeah. I mean, you know, which in some ways played against us, because they used to sell off bits of our stuff. You know, we never really got paid any money for our images or, you know, whatever it was, and all that kind of stuff. But now they've got onto the commercial side of it, and they're pushing it madly, as you obviously might notice. So maybe now, I had no problem. What's interesting was that when Big Finish suddenly became rather successful, the BBC wouldn't allow any of the current 21st century doctors to be on them. But I think I've just heard that they've now allowing that to happen. So that means that, you know, Matt Smith and David and Chris, if they want to, can come along and do some stuff.
Cheers.
Which is nice if that happens. And also it's nice to get to work with them as well. So that's what I've just heard that. I don't know if it's 100% certain, but I've heard that. But no, we were free to do what we liked. Really. I was trying to figure out how to start a religion. You know, I think, you know, because, you know, there's a lot of money in it. You know. I haven't come up quite with a thing. Because, you know, in a way, you know, we're like cardinals, you know, kind of popes, some of it. You know. I think Tom Baker, he thinks he's the pope. Yeah, so
Thank you so much for spending time with us. Have a safe trip back home. Thank you very much.
As a newly minted Sylvesterist, I think that it would be a phenomenal time in church with you at any point.
You know that I was actually trained to be a pope.
Really?
Yeah, I went to a seminary when I was a little boy, at the age of 11. In those days, the Catholics got you young, if you wanted.
They still do.
They still do. Easy. Yeah, I know, dangerous, I know. I was lucky I somehow missed it all. I suppose there's another little bleeder. But anyway, no, they got, what happened was, I went to I'm an Irish immigrant. There's lots of you in America, but I'm an Irish immigrant into Scotland. And the Sheridans, the battling Sheridans. My mother was Molly Sheridan. And I went to Catholic school, and primary school, we used to have this wonderful horrible headmistress really, because she used to torture the generation before, make them kneel like that with their hands out, you know, and then they hit them with a ruler. But the time she got to us, she softened. Her name was Rosie O'Grady. I mean, you could make that up, wouldn't you? That was her real name, Rosie O'Grady. She was our headmistress. Anyway, she used to have vocational talks. One day, a doctor came in and to 11-year-olds and say, I'm a doctor, blah, 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 and then they'd all leave, and then she'd say, who would like to become a doctor? And I put my hand up. And others did as well. And then there was the captain of the paddle steamer. He came in, afterwards, blah, blah, blah. And they always enthused about their jobs, so I put my hand up. I put my hand up for everything. The dustbin man, they called me, whatever, I put my hand up. Then one day a priest came in, and same thing happened. He talked about his job, and he left, I put my hand up. There was only 3 of us put our hand up. Danny Sweeney, myself, and Maureen O'Cullen. She was a bit, you know, kind of not wearing the brightest button in there. Anyway, something strange happened that never happened to all the other hand-up things, was we were given the afternoon off. to go and see the priest, to tell him we want to be priests. Now, we hadn't been given the afternoon off to be doctors. We hadn't been given the afternoon off to be a paddle steamer captain. But anyway, of course, afternoon off school, Danny Sweeney and I, hey, let's go. And off we went down to the rectory, knocked on, and then when they got there, Danny suddenly said, oh, I don't think I want to be a priest. I said, you're a coward. You want to be a priest? I'm going to be a priest. I'll show you. And so I went to the door, knocked on the door opened, the priest came out and said, Father, I would like to be a priest. And whoosh, bang. That was it. I was off to be a priest. That was the deep religious calling I had. I just wanted to get a day off from school and show Danny Sweeney what a wimp he was. Anyway, off I went to the seminary and I had a wonderful time. I actually got housemate's knee from praying. I mean, my knee still hurt. I used to pray. I became so religious and deep and into it in a very big way. It was method acting. And I loved it. And then I decided that I didn't want to be a priest. I was going to become a Dominican monk. That was even more kind of extreme. So I left the seminary. I went home after paperwork had all been done. But then when I got home, a letter arrived saying you're too young by a year to become a monk. So I thought, oh, I've got to go to school. I lived in the Highlands of Scotland. There was only one school there, Drummond Grammar School, and it was a mixed-sex school. So off I went to this school for a year, and in a very short period of time, I decided, rather than wear a skirt, I'd chase it instead. And out the window.
And now we're going to found Sylvesterism instead.
Yes, and now we're going to find this religion, I'll become the Pope.
The amazing, the incomparable Sylvester.